Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I've been quiet for 2 weeks. Yeah, there was things in my life I was dealing with, and I remember there was even one Saturday I sat in this car for 2 hours and I didn't like anything I was saying. I do not like posting videos when my mindset is not right, and I know we should not allow our emotions to overwhelm what we do. I get it. As I said, we are always growing, we are always changing, we are always healing, and we are always maturing. So we get better next time. Just because our emotions are all over the place doesn't mean we don't do what we are meant to do. And then the last other week, I did a video again I didn't like. And on Saturday, I ended up being somewhere. And I kind of, at the moment, like shooting videos on the day I post. For now. That can change with time. So yeah. So today's video is actually inspired from the conference I had gone for on Saturday, 11th of November, 2023. I have invested a lot of my time in listening to podcasts, YouTube channels, some TikTok videos when it comes to understanding the opposite gender, that is understanding men, what men want, what men need, how men think, how men perceive relationships. Because I always say, if you, as a woman, if I want to be in a relationship with a man, I need to understand the man. If I do not take time to understand the man, I might as well date myself. Because over the years, I've learned men think completely different. I always say men think logically and women think emotionally. So as women, we can get very disappointed if we get into a relationship expecting so much because you had this, like it goes back to my former video on imaginary boyfriends. If you think the man that you've been building in your head is the man you will have, why do I say you'll get disappointed? Because again, we think very differently. So that fairy tale story you're creating in your head is not real. So it is better for you to watch this podcast. And when I talk about podcasts, I'm talking about men who they're mature, they have truly decided to speak their truth, and they are very raw, and they have shared their life story from how they were womanizers, how they were users, how they were sex addicts, blah, 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 whatever it may be, and who they are today. So they give you a whole rounded perspective on how men are, how men think, and what a good man is like, what a bad man is like, and how a bad guy can become a good guy. I like raw, honest conversations, because we all have a past and we all have a story, even our past of yesterday, not just a past of 10 years ago. We all have a past, and if we wake up in the morning and decide we want to be better, that's good. So women, these are the men I listen to. They are very good. They have changed my life completely. Not listen to them, I would have totally destroyed what God has for me in terms of a man. So I'm going to do this. Let me first give an example as to why I am telling you this is very important, because I usually just say men think logically, women think emotionally. Let me give a simple story. So you, as a woman, you have a roommate who is a fellow female. Either she's your friend or just happens to be someone random you ended up being roommates with. But the thing is, you guys talk. So it's not like you guys don't ignore each other's existence. So you guys have a problem. Let's say your sink is leaking in the kitchen and you need a plumber to come fix it. So you call the plumber, and one of you is home because the other one was not home that time. So the plumber comes, does what he needs to do, and leaves. So now when your roommate comes home and asks you, hey, did the plumber come? So this is how, I don't know, I always say I'm not sure if it's all women, but I know that can be me. So you'll start saying, hey, let me tell you, yeah, the plumber came. He said he's coming at 11, but can you imagine the guy was late? He came at 12:30. Then he removes his shoes, and his shoes stink up the house. I'm trying to breathe, but I am suffocating because of the stink coming from his feet. He enters the kitchen, analyzes the situation, and tells me, oh, madam, you know, it is more than you thought it was. There's this and this and this and this and this and this. And so he gives me a quote and adds a bit because it's more than what we thought. So he fixes it. Then I decide, let me just be nice and offer him a cup of tea. So as he's fixing, I say, would you like a cup of tea? He gets very excited. I serve him his tea and he's like, oh my gosh, you know, I come to the ladies' houses. They never offer me anything, even a glass of water. You, madam, are very nice. You're very blessed. Thank you so much. You know, many men would be blessed to have a woman like you who is so thoughtful. Then he continued fixing. He did a good job, and because of my niceness, he decided actually to give us a bit of a discount, which was so good. He thanked me. I even decided to save his number because, you know, it's good, always good to know someone you trust. Because he was a really nice guy, he did not make me feel uncomfortable. He left. I was so happy he left, though, because his feet were smelling. Nice guy, yes, but he needed to put on those shoes and leave. Then, babes, do you remember that air freshener we bought because we wanted the house to smell nice? I had to use it because the kitchen was stinking and all of that. And then by the he was so happy as he left. Blah 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 blah. And then even in between, your roommates even starting, hey, you know, hey, new mechanics, all these mjengo guys, you know, plumbers, their feet really stink. So on the side, you guys have had a whole 30 minutes conversation. And then you have to say, oh, yeah, let me finish. He fixed it. And it's working really well. Now, my dear, if that's the mentality you think you're going to bring with when it comes to a man, you will be highly disappointed. A man wants one question. Babe, did the plumber come? Yes or no? Easy stories zingine, leave. These are the stories, forget about it. So you just say, yes, he came. Did he fix? Yes, he managed to fix, and this was the quote, and he said it will not happen again. If it does, we'll let him know. Simple. These other manners, giving them the important details. If you want to joke in between, find a way to joke, but not way too much detail. If you want to give all that detail, call your girlfriend and tell her. So this is the reason I'm doing this video. So I'm going to go from 5 to 1. I'll start with number 5, going down to number 1, the people I listen to. So there's Mark Gungor. I'll put the names down because some are massacring the pronunciation of these names. He did this video called Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage. So it's you can get them in segments, but usually I watch the whole 4-hour video. My personal choice, you can watch in segments, is 21. Yani, you do you. Me, I usually just sit down and watch the full 4 hours when I have time. I've watched it every year since 2015 or 2016 there. I'm not very sure. I make sure it's something I watch every year. I haven't watched this year, so I'll make it a point to do so. He teaches on the difference between men's brains and women's brains. Very interesting. This is like how I've started this. How I started with the foundation of why I watch these men, because we think very differently. And this guy is perfect in explaining the difference between men's brains and women's brains. And it helps you, both genders actually, it's not just for the women, it helps both genders understand why you guys bump heads. It's because you didn't know that men and women think differently. Like you women, you can have 50 things on your mind. I need to pick up the dry cleaning. I need to take the car and do this and this errands. I need, the baby needs this. Oh, by the way, so and so are getting married. But let me check my M-Pesa, how much I have, so I can contribute. Let me congratulate so and so's child for graduating from university. Oh, by the way, how is Shosho doing in Shags? Let me find out. Let me think. By the way, I remember so and so went to America and I haven't yet spoken to them. Your mind is wired. Men think straight. They basically have that one goal in mind. If it's to leave the house and go to work, that's where their mind is. It's like how women, we planned to go straight, but then it doesn't take more than 5 kilometers, we start turning right, and then we say let's go left, then we say let me go back, then forward. No, men, it's just straight line. So Mark Garner, Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage, explains this perfectly. The fourth one is Sealz The Man. He gives you pointers on what men like, and he is so simple. He gives pointers like what men like that you wear, the perfume you put on, what men like when you do things that you don't see as a big deal, but men secretly like it. He gives you pointers on things you wear that men like. And they are so simple. I remember the other time he said some men like when women wear charm bracelets because it shows it's a collection of items you like over time. Because charm bracelets are basically, if you went to Paris, then you have a small pendant of the Eiffel Tower. You went somewhere, or you had a heartbreak, so you got a heartbreak heart. Stuff like that. Very interesting guy to listen to. If you just want simple pointers, his videos are not always long. Many of them are very short. Tony Gaskins. So Tony Gaskins helps you understand men and what men need. Before I shot this video, I was listening, as I was doing other things, I was listening to one of his videos on what men need, and he was talking about what men need but they will never tell you. How men need affirmation. Yes, they need affirmation and affection, but they will never tell you. So you as a woman, you want to be loved, you want to be protected, you want to be held, you want to be cuddled, you want to be embraced, you want to be affirmed, you're so beautiful, you want to be told you look good, man, I look at you, you want that. But men want it too. They just never voice it. So I love Tony Gaskins because he gives you insight in what a man wants. He also speaks to the men, but I'm speaking to the ladies today. Yeah, so he tells you. And what I like about him is he's very random. He could be driving his car and decide, hey, I need to do a video. So don't be distracted by the fact that he's distracted. I would highly recommend him. Number 2, R.C. Blakes Jr. This guy, actually, in my opinion, he's at par with my number 1, but I will put him at number 2 because if I look at the number 1 is one I listen to the most, then I listen to number 2, but to me they're at par. So number 2 is R.C. Blakes Jr. This man has totally transformed my life. I used to be a woman who was very tapped into her masculine energy. A woman but with a lot of masculinity, and it was very toxic, and I did not know. For this one, I will do a whole video on femininity versus masculinity in women, so I won't explain much about myself now. I'll explain it in that video. This guy has totally changed my life, and he's made me learn to take on my queenology, my queenly self, and how kings are attracted to queens and queens attract kings. So when we are tapped into our masculine energy, it's hard for us to be married, because many of us women, even though we fight it, many of us, I'm not saying all, Sisemi wote, but many of us, our goal is marriage. He's helped me be a wife material. I always say, even a friend of mine who says, Wambere, you're not girlfriend material, you're wifey. And I'm like, yeah. And it just took me months and months, from January to today, just listening to the perspective of men, and I am who I am today. Even if you watched like my former videos, you may tell the difference. It's just that nowadays I don't have nails because I play the guitar. Otherwise, because you can be feminine in your dressing, you can be feminine with your nails, you can be feminine with your hair, but your characteristics, your personality is totally masculine. So R.C. Blakes, one day I know I'll meet you and I'll just thank you for transforming my whole life. He has a book on queenology and kingology, 2 books I want to invest in some time in the near future. I have a lot of books that I haven't yet finished reading. I need to first finish those before I invest in more. Yeah. Number 1, drum roll please. Benjamin Zulu. Benjamin Zulu. He's Benjamin Zulu Global or Benjamin Zulu KE, wherever you're searching him. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Man, amazing guy. And that is a conference I was in on Saturday that has inspired this video. Saturday, wonderful conference. I have invested my time in listening to these podcast YouTube channels, because like someone like R.C. Blakes, his videos are like 58 minutes to an hour plus sometimes. So that's investment of time. I have invested, but for the first time I invested money. Okay, not the first time, because I've bought books. The first book I ever bought on learning men was the Robert Burale book, 3 Hearts of a Man. So I've invested, yes, in that, but now I'm just talking about a big investment in terms of going to sit in a conference to listen to someone teach you about growing your love and growing your money. So you learn to balance the two. It was amazing, life transforming, life changing, mindset altering. As I have said before, I listen to Benjamin Zulu Monday to Saturday at 8 p.m. If I miss his lives because, you can be busy doing something else, you are not around to watch it, I go back and watch the pre-recorded. He's someone I listen to a lot because his truths are so painful. Man, those things are painful. They're so painful and so hard sometimes to sit down and listen to. Sometimes it feels like you've been given a punch in the face. I remember when we went for the conference and he got the mic, and I believe it was the second session in the afternoon after lunch, and he immediately started shouting in the mic. Like, this guy goes hard. He goes completely hard. But let me tell you, sweetie, if you listen and follow what he says, he is saving lives. Literally saving lives. Saving lives. Even I was watching him yesterday, and it's I think it was an old video, how that as a woman, you may have to detach from toxic relationships. And toxic relationships is not necessarily just with a man. It could even be with your family. And don't show them your emotions at that point, especially the man. Don't show him. What you need to do is just find a place where it's uncomfortable, so you have to either be lying down on your face, kneeling down, and go and cry. Cry out those emotions. Just make sure that man never sees those emotions. That's Benjamin Zulu for you. This guy is amazing. But many women say I cannot listen to him religiously because I'm not willing to put in the work because of how painful the work is. And me, I had this video of taking control over your emotions. I've learned to literally crucify my emotions for the betterment of myself. Because at the end of the day, I'm a woman, but I would rather deny my emotions place than destroy myself. So if you recommend you listen to this, these names I've given you. And as a bonus, I put a man by the name Kevin Samuels. He's no longer with us. He died. He's really good. If you have the stomach to hear someone who also talks about women needing to stop being alpha women, that's not a terminology he likes, I would recommend you listen. Listening helps. It broadens your mindset and you live a happy life. So guys, until my next video, peace.